Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to The Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado Springs Real Estate Authority. That's Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb's also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that the Springs has to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air the Real Estate Voice show every Saturday, and if you cannot listen to the entire show, it is available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search Barb Schlinker, Schlinker, on most of the popular podcast platforms like iHeart Radio, etc. Every week, the Real Estate Voice covers great information about people's primary assets, that is their home. So, Barb, what will we be covering today?
Well, the first segment I don't hear too many people talking about is what happens to a home when it sits empty, especially when it's offered for sale. Have you heard me talk about that before?
I don't believe so, no, but it is a problem out there.
I've got some great stories for you. I'm so excited. And then the next one we're going to talk about basically, should I sell my home or should I rent it out in 2022? What are the choices, and just some things that can help you kind of walk through planning if it's in the back of your mind that, hey, maybe I'll hold on to this asset and maybe I'll rent it out, and just some pros and cons on what to do, what not to do. And then the third segment, we're going to talk about the top questions you should ask before you hire a real estate agent. A lot of people don't know what to ask. A lot of people don't know how to measure that criteria, and we'll talk about that. And then the very last segment I'm excited about was called the Home Seller Checklist, and the top things to help you sell your home for up to 11% more. So you ready to go, Richard?
I am indeed ready to go. Barb, indications are that the housing market is cooling off quickly. Some people decide to move out of their home first and then sell it. So what are some of the issues with doing that?
Well, Richard, there are some reasons that people vacate a home before they put it up for sale. One could be just they have to move. They have to move now for whatever reason, job relocation, all that. Another could be maybe you're handling the estate sale of someone. I've taken on a few of those. I've got one on the market right now in which the owner passed away, or the owner had to go to some sort of care facility, either independent living or assisted living, and they're moving out of the house because they can't stay with stairs. So that's another reason why to move out. And then another reason is for some people, it's just too hard to deal with showings. I've got one client right now that has a little girl and an infant and 2 dogs and a renter, and it's a little chaotic. So we have to really restrict the showing hours, or it's just too hard to deal with people coming in your house. So that's a pretty good reason to vacate the home, but you want to make sure that you hire the team that knows how to handle that situation. You wouldn't believe the things that could go wrong, Richard. I just so you know, I've been in business since the mid 90s, and for a time after the mortgage meltdown, I handled well over 200 properties that were taken back by the bank. And that's part of what we are trained to do, is to make sure that we're checking on those properties, that we're watching for problems that could arise. And there are some things that have happened to me that are typically very surprising. Like I had one of those properties, and at the time our son was a teenager, and I get a call at 7 a.m. from the sheriff.
Yikes.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, did he, break out of the house and go do something bad? But it had nothing to do with him. It turned out that one of the properties that I had my sign up, apparently these teenage kids broke into it and had a rave party.
Oh my gosh.
So what they did, the main level had a lot of windows. They took boards and covered the windows. They got some little skinny teenager to wiggle her way through the basement window and had a big party. Well, the neighbor actually told on them, and they all scattered, except for they caught one of them. Anyway, so that's one thing that happened. I've had several instances of squatters moving in, not just in bank-owned homes, but in homes that were vacated that were either being remodeled or in the process of getting ready to go on the market. That happens on occasion too. So you want to make sure you're hiring a team that's keeping an eye on these properties. And it's kind of scary when a squatter moves in because you're like, okay, what do you do? I've had two incidences. One of them happened last week. And you will not believe this, Richard, that a buyer's agent gave the key to the prospective buyer before they had closed on the house and let them move in early. Can you believe that happens?
No, I cannot believe that happens. I mean, and that's why I recommend you. I want you looking out for me and my property until all is said and done. Every T is crossed, every I is dotted, and the transaction takes place. The keys are exchanged.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those situations that gives me a panic attack and makes me very crabby. The first time it happened, it was actually in a gated community. It was a real high-end home. And I don't know why the agent thought it was perfectly okay to just give the buyer the key and let him move his entire possessions into a garage, a 3-car garage. And of course, we're trained to inspect the properties on a regular basis to make sure everything's okay. Sure enough, we get there and the garage is full of his household goods before closing. So I would lose the client if I allowed that, because they do come around and inspect us as well. Plus the neighbors are watching out for what's going on. So I kind of had a hissy fit and had quite the intense talk with that agent. His response was, "You're mean." I said, "No, you let your client break in the house. That's probably all kinds of license law violations. So either you resolve this today or we'll call the Division of Real Estate." See what they have to say.
Things, I know how people go with this, Barb. Richard Randall here, Barb Schlinker there. I know how people go with this. Well, it worked out okay. This person was okay, and blah blah blah. But that's not the point. The point is how quickly it could have gone south, and how it is a violation of how you're supposed to do things.
Yeah, and you know what? If somebody moves in your house without permission, you actually have to evict them, even if they don't have permission.
I could see that.
You have to go through the entire eviction process, which could take a month or longer. So
and there's all kinds of liability. As a former trial attorney, there's all kinds of liability issues when you've got somebody in your house that's not authorized.
That's right. There's all kinds of issues. They could damage the home. So you want somebody that's really looking out for you. And that's part of what we're trained to do. We're trained to watch for those kind of things. Some other things that aren't quite so dramatic that have happened are if there's weather damage. Like we've had a few pretty doozy storms come through and cause some problems, either knocking down branches or damaged roofs or branches hitting roofs, that kind of stuff. You want somebody watching out for your home. And you know what? Not every agent will do that. They get the listing. They hope it's going to close. It's all good. They want to collect their check, but they're not checking on the asset. And if this seller has moved away, that could really cause some problems. I have actually had during showings, this is licensed agents, during showings, when I made the mistake, and I'll never do this again, by putting comments in the MLS to say there's hardwood floors under that carpet. Well, you can check that by lifting up a heater vent without doing any damage. But this doofus agent pulled back the carpet and didn't tack it back down on the tack strips. Really, really made the seller irate. I'm like, oh my God. They're just some of the things that people do. They use toilets that are winterized. That's really a problem. But the big thing that we worry about, of course, are things like plumbing issues or having a plumbing break or a freeze break. So many of the bank-owned type properties, they are so used to these issues because that's all they deal in are vacant homes. So there's a lot of steps that they take. They winterize, they have a second crew come around and inspect, plus we have to inspect all the time. So we're trained to do it, and not every agent is trained to do it. We look at the home, we visit the home at least weekly. We let the neighbors know to call us if they see anything weird going on. We put up prominent signs that have good phone numbers that can reach us any time of the day or night if something's going on. And so that's the kind of agent that you want to hire. looking out for you. And, the market has shifted rapidly. It's kind of shocking right now what's going on. Just in the past month, we've seen the inventory climb exponentially. You're seeing far few bidding wars. Inventory, of course, is rising a lot because everybody's like, oh, I missed the crazy time. Let me put my house on the market now. Now, that's not a bad thing. According to all of the national demographics, it's going to be okay. There's still a low supply of homes and a high demand for homes. But with the interest rates rising, you have to make sure you're priced right and positioned right to get the most amount of money. We've seen just in the past month, the number of available properties go up 24% just in the past month. It's extraordinary. I had one client that called me and said, well, I got an offer, but it wasn't over asking price, so I didn't take it. I said, make the deal, dude. The market's shifting very fast. And it's because he didn't hire an agent that really understood what was going on during the market shift. And the agent didn't know what to do. He's calling me for advice, which I can't really help somebody else's client other than tell them, you're on track. Just get the thing sold. And, with the interest rates going up, that has another huge impact on everybody's ability to afford the payments. So just a year ago, we had crazy crater low interest rates, and now they're more like they were during the meltdown, actually 6-ish%, maybe higher. So what I think is going to happen is that I think the escalation in price is going to slow down substantially. If you're overpriced, if you're looking backwards at those homes that had bidding wars, chances are you're probably not going to get that number. You need to price what I call realistically versus optimistically to get the most amount of money. Be ready for the homes to probably, soften, the home prices to soften a bit. The days are over where you can expect 50, 100,000 over asking price, unless you're priced crazy low. And you know what? All of the experts are predicting that the home values are going to keep going up. That's a good thing. And again, that has to do with supply and demand. So we had crazy low supply in 2021. Now we're getting more back on track to normal supply. And with rates rising, you're going to see some price concessions going on. You're going to see some negotiating. Not every home is going to have a bidding war. Not every home is going to have multiple offers. And you want to hire the agent that knows how to deal with a shifting market condition. And if you want to give us a call, our number is 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to the Real Estate Voice. That is Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And we're going to take a break. If you want to contact Barb, go ahead and just give her a call at 719-301-3900. Or as always, go ahead and visit barbhasthebuyers.com. As I said, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about should you sell or rent out your home in 2022? You don't want to miss that.